Okay, it's Thursday, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Hide the kids, lock the door to the office. It's time for another episode of Shop Talk with Chris and Ken. I'm Chris Kellen with Cycle Source Magazine, and man, do we got a lot of news tonight.
Yes, we do. I'm Ken.
Ken, you almost left me hanging baby.
I don't even know what the hell I'm with anymore. What am I with?
You're with Cycle Source Magazine. You're with Rise Above Consulting.
Magazine,
You're
Rise
with Forever2Wheels.com.
You know, I don't know what any of that means anymore. Anyway, existential crisis. Anyway, I'm going to post this up on my little feed, see how it goes. I'm excited about tonight. We've got some great guests.
Oh, man, killer guests tonight. Obviously, Jason Sims, we've been putting the ad out about that. The caretaker of Motorcycle Cannonball also runs things up at Glencoe Campground. A lot to talk to him about. Moving on through our series of the Passion Built Builders, we have Long John Barwood on tonight. John builds some crazy sick choppers. He's one of my favorite human beings on the whole planet.
He's also an amazing tattoo artist.
He is. Him and Pinky both, actually.
Nice. That'll be fun. I'm excited to talk to both of them. I've known Jason a long time.
I think it's going to be an awesome show.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have a question that I'm not going to ask you that I'm going to ask him because I just put two and two together about something, and I think I might feel like an idiot. So it'll be fun to do live.
So, lots of news. I mean, man, between the
crazy
stuff,
amounts of news.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, so much that I think we should probably jump right into it, but I don't know where we should even start.
Let's start with a little self-serving news that I can bring up because we don't do that all the time. But coming up real soon here is the Cycle Source Magazine Big Mountain Run. This is the 9th one that we've done, June 7th through the 10th in Parsons, West Virginia. And this is, if nobody knows the history of this, me and the guys from the Limp Nicky lot started this event years and years ago just because we figured if we threw an old-time bike event like we wanted to have and no one else showed up, we could still have a hell of a good time. And over the years, that's exactly what it's been. I mean, I'm going to play a video real quick. This is the commercial we threw together for it. And I love this commercial. So yeah, basically the premise is we do a couple-day gypsy tour where we stop from campground to campground. We end up in a great big place, a campground called Camp Kid. There's 2 days of music, motorcycle games, amateur flat track racing, burnout contest with Metzler, and it's just a really sick time. So anybody that's looking for information, you can hit us up at bigmountainrun.com. Other than that, we'll see you in the hills of West Virginia.
It's really not that good. Don't come.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my self-serving news. Big Mountain Run.
It's not that good though, right?
It's not that good. It's not that good. And I mean, in case anybody's wondering where that came from, that was a direct quote from George the Painter, who one year came up to us and said, "You know what? This thing is so perfect because there's not enough people here for it to be like to get on your nerves." He said, "We should just start telling people it's really not that good." So we did.
Nice.
So Biker Bells in the news. Let's move on to that. They have at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip every year, they host an event called the Biker Bells. Been doing it for 10 years now. This year they have posted their celebrity panel.
Shifting gears.
A lot of stuff.
And who is on the?
I don't know who Alyssa Clickinger is. Do you?
I don't.
I'm going to read her bio right now.
Obviously.
She's a moto traveler and journalist. Running for her life. Looks like she's ridden a lot. All right, cool.
But some big names up there. I mean, Valerie Thompson, we talked about just recently, had the land speed crash. Gloria Struck, Laura Clark, Carly Cobb.
Marilyn Stemp
is there. She's in the Evil Knievel truck, isn't she? Damn it.
Savannah Rose from SNS is on there.
Yep.
It's basically every woman that we know that rides. Come on.
Right on.
Let's be serious.
Well, not
and that's
quite,
good, right?
Ben.
I mean,
Not
just
quite.
kidding. Just kidding.
Jeez.
Just trying to get a little
oomph.
going.
So
Yeah,
you guys,
something.
you guys can hear that voice over my shoulder. That is the lovely Heather Callan is in the studio. She's manning the Facebook Live pages. If you
Manning.
womaning, whoa man. But if you have some questions or comments, she'll be sure to get them on the air. So don't hesitate.
Mm-hmm.
And Ken and I are just here for commentary. Let's be serious.
That's right.
So we're gonna move on to.
Well,
Bell.
let's say hello to some people first. Wait a
Okay,
minute.
hang on. I'll take you back.
Slow
Go
your
ahead.
roll.
There you go. Well, I'm all
She's all Twitter?
jittery. Yeah, because there's so much news. We don't
Have
usually
you had
have
too much
this.
coffee today?
No, he hasn't had that much, surprisingly. So, hello, Carolyn Bradshaw. Tom Kiefer is in the house. Franklin Church Hoppers. He loves this time slot.
Right on.
Rich from Petoniac Cycles. Rich, we got your email. We will be in touch. Haven't forgotten about you. Chris Summer Simmons. She likes this time slot too. She's folding laundry right now.
She's another one of my favorite humans on the whole planet. And you just not that long ago got to do a podcast with her, right?
I did.
I have to look
I got
that
to
up.
do it. Yeah, I got to do it live. You were sitting right there, Chris.
I know,
I
but
know.
it's not the same. Like even the stuff that we do here, dude, like after the show is over, I go back and listen to it because it's not the same as being in the moment of something and then going back and seeing how things sounded and the way it came across and how things connected. Like I love the production of things.
Well, you know what it is? You get so engrossed in the production that it's almost like a blur, and you go back and you're like, wow man, that was a really
cool.
good show.
Did I say that for real?
Or like when we get a
Why is Ted
magazine.
such a jackass.
Yeah, we'll get a new issue with a magazine, and we'll look at it and we'll be like, wow, that didn't suck.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Who produced that thing? Whoa.
Let's see.
I think that's the way it's supposed to be, and I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right? Hey, listen, from an artistic perspective, there's a method. That's all you can say.
Well, and it's it's that funny thing of you always hear people ask other people that are super successful, like, hey, did you ever dream it was going to be this big? Of course they did. Like at some point they had to, or they wouldn't be where they are at, right?
Yeah.
So I would imagine that the same is true with the magazine.
But dreaming that it's going to be that big someday and actually looking back and going, holy shit, because like Heather said, it happens like a blur and you turn around one day and it's like, oh my God, I've been doing this for 22 years and I want to hang myself.
I had to think about that the other day. I was like, how long have I been doing this? Actually, it was more like,
Maybe a little
how
too
long have I been doing this?
Real quick, let me finish my shout outs. Bill Rodencall says everyone knows Jason has a face made for radio. I don't know about that. Bill, I don't know you, but I assume that you're good friends with Jason, so we'll let that one slide.
my knee-jerk reaction is that I wanted to say Jason is a sexy bitch, but now that I think about it, he's usually on a knucklehead or like a cool old Indian or something. I think I'm actually lusting after his motorcycles.
You have motorcycle envy?
I do.
That's interesting.
I got it. Let's see who else. Derek Mayhew's in the house. Jim Calville. Steve Hart. I think that's everybody that I can see for right now. So go on. Move
We're
on.
done with you.
Nice.
I'm done with
Moving
you.
on. So the thing that's cool about Biker Bells, this is the 10th year, right? It's women that ride, right? And they're in there talking about things that are specific to women riding. And I think it's great to have a place to do that. And I think it's great that it's the Buffalo Chip and that people get to do that during Sturgis. So I think that it's like I've never been to it because I'm not a belle.
You know what? I can
what
say.
day of the rally is that event?
I don't know. It doesn't even say.
You got me.
Yeah. Event. Let's click on event.
Sorry,
Schedule.
guys.
Schedule. Well, it starts at 8 a.m., but we don't know what day of the week that is.
We'll get back to you guys on that one.
Well, we're so bad. We're so bad.
Hey, in our defense, and it actually is not us, it's the particular website. Maybe we're
it's
missing
not.
something.
It doesn't say on there what day it is. So
where's Marilyn Stemp when we need her? She always has all the answers.
I don't know.
Or mailman. Mailman usually saves our ass.
Somebody's gonna chime in. Somebody's gonna do some internet research for us, so we don't have to sit here look like we're looking at our computer the whole time with our face lit up.
Tuesday,
and like
August,
that blank stare.
Tuesday, August
like
7th.
Right
How's that? Tuesday, August 7th.
Oh, you
Tuesday,
get
August 7th.
Score.
Same day as Aiden's ride.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So, the one thing I want to say about this, man, is, for many, many years now, to the credit of Woody and everyone at the Buffalo Chip, they really, really embraced this thing. When Biker Bells first started out, it was just like a couple girls getting together, and, there's not many, event venues that are going to reach out for something like that and make sure that, they have a nice catered lunch and all this stuff, all the trimmings that go along with doing a successful event. And, the Buffalo Chip did. So hats off to them for giving these ladies a place and a purpose and
for sure. It looks like BMW, Geico, Russ Brown, Hot Leathers, Team Diva, Wrangler, Indian, and Pepsi are the sponsors. So, BMW is the one that makes the most sense to me there because they are after women riders like nobody's business. And so is Indian. So,
right.
And Hot Leathers obviously has a ton of apparel. So, and Team, Diva Amy's awesome. So that makes sense as well.
So,
she is.
You got me. You got me there.
She's awesome.
Listen, I just didn't expect that. Team Diva Amy. That's a lot to say in one line.
Man, why you gotta be like that?
Okay.
You're like staring at me.
Moving on. We got
all right. Moving on.
We got a video from Bell Helmets here that I want to share with you guys, and here it goes. My video volume all sucked tonight. Dude, this video so reminds me of me and my buddies when we were kids, building trails and jumps. Jesus. These kids are so good today. Is that Chris Dorham? Darren Dorham, I'm sorry. Chris's son, Darren. Screwed me up for a minute. So Darren Dorham is actually from right around our hometown, Ken. Remember when you could just do anything you wanted with a motorcycle? Toss it around, turn it in the middle of the air. No?
getaway. That's what we call that, boys. A clean getaway.
Okay, so check this out. One of the biggest reasons why we're playing this video and giving a lot of extra love to Bell Helmets tonight is they're getting like the Super Good People Award from this show and from the magazine for the week. But did you have something else before I get into this whole diatribe?
Not at all.
No. So for anybody who has the crossover disease of all things motorcycle like us, Bell Helmets forever in all motorsports, but as it applies to the custom motorcycle industry, just recently, Crystal Hess and the people from Motorcycle Missions, the place where they were keeping all of their equipment was kind of invaded by homeless people.
Well,
go ahead.
Can I just back up? I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
She had it in a storage facility, and the storage facility lets the homeless stay in the vacant units. Well, unfortunately, there are no restroom facilities there, so they would relieve themselves within their unit. Well, anybody that knows those storage units knows that water and fluids and everything just flow right through and underneath. It's free flowing. So their riding gear got ruined, essentially, because of the homeless population in Austin. And it was a good bit of it. It was the boots and helmets and
like all the
everything.
Off-road riding gear. Yeah.
So Bell Helmets stepped up and donated I think half a dozen or so helmets to the
Maybe
organization.
More.
Which kudos to Bell Helmets.
It really is. Like when an organization like this does something that's so big for, undoubtedly Motorcycle Missions has been doing just some incredible work, and they do it on such a small amount of budget, and there's lots of encouragement, but the encouragement runs out when you're looking for ways to pay the bills, and when you have everything that you have acquired for a particular part of your function disappear in one fell swoop like that, it can take the wind out of your sails. And Bell really stepped up, so we want to give them a big shout out.
For sure. Yeah. Hopefully everything else gets filled as well. Boots, jerseys, protective gear, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Gloves.
If anybody's out there watching that wants to donate or help the cause, please visit motorcyclemissions.org. If you're not familiar with it, I urge you to check it out. She's got a great program that gives our veterans a purpose again. It gives them a skill. It gives them a new passion. They do riding clinics. They do, basically they build custom motorcycles, and they've actually just opened a satellite location in the Dallas area. So they have Austin, and now they have Dallas as well. So
nice. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Good stuff.
Yep. Bell's pretty rad. I like Bell helmets. I have a couple.
So Harley Davidson motorcycles. Cheaper Harley Davidson motorcycles to be available soon. Brand begins testing used bike concept in India.
Did they listen into your conversation? I mean, seriously, what the hell is going on?
Dude, I don't want to be so verbose as to actually say something like Harley Davidson's getting cues from me or something, but it just makes sense. You know what I mean? The thing that doesn't make sense as much to me is, the fact that that's going to start in India instead of, here in good old broke-ass United States, but awesome. Hopefully it's successful there and they decide to move it on over here. But, it's a little more broad of a program than what we were talking about. I think Heather was actually reading into this a little more and knew some.
Yeah, I think from what I gathered in my quick review, it's going to be refurbished motorcycles, and they're actually going to be doing, I believe, I could be wrong, entire dealerships with refurbished and used motorcycles. And I don't think, if I read correctly, it will be too long before it ventures here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I mean, and I wonder if any of it has to do with import tax and all sorts of crazy stuff that's could be going on, or why, is it just Is it just a cost of goods, or are they just trying to get the cost down for people so they can get on bikes and get them in there? I mean, that's what that's what your initial concept was, right, Chris?
Well, and I think as it applies in the market in India too. We had talked about several weeks ago how a lot of companies are looking for a way to do business in India, but the truth is they're way more utilitarian about their motorcycles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like you the only way you're going to attract that demographic is with the price point, and the only way that price point is going to meet that need is to be satisfied by the used market. The bummer is, like I said, that it's not happening here in the United States, because that means the more motorcycles that get shipped out of the country, used or not, that's the less that we have at our base and disposal.
Yeah.
So
well, and it says here that the bikes are built at their facility in we have a manufacturing facility here in Bawal, Haryana. So, they're building Harleys in India. I think we already knew that, but it sounds like they're going after a younger rider. Sure.
I'm saying, like, for the used part, where are the used bikes coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem like there could be that many used Harley Davidsons, and God, our news skills are shit tonight. I mean, really, we're just like pulling stuff up, and we don't really know.
I think it's just been a long week, right?
Here, we're just letting you guys know about it. So, be on the eye out. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Be on the eye out.
As long as shit's getting crazy, let's move to one of my favorite segments.
Batshit crazy news.
That's right. The world is a sick place, and sometimes we're happy about it, but every once in a while you come across shit that's just like, why? First look at Blue Edition, the world's most expensive motorcycle. One of a kind mod of a Harley-Davidson Softail, features 360 diamonds and costs $1.79 million. Yeah.
1.79 million.
Have you ever heard of Bunderbike?
No.
You haven't ever heard of Bunderbike?
Dude, wait a minute. Do that again. Let me put this up. Go ahead. What was the...
You've never heard of Bunderbike?
Absolutely not. But it falls into batshit crazy news, so congratulations to them.
Watch company. And it's not even a custom motorcycle. It's actually just a Softail Slim that they customized.
Yeah. It says one of a kind mod of a Harley Davidson Softail.
360 diamonds.
They completely transformed it into a hardtail chopper, so something completely unrideable.
So, moving on to other expensive motorcycles. The Terminator bike is for sale, Ken.
Oh, God. You and I are going to put our pennies together and buy that thing, huh?
They're expecting it to sell at auction next week for between $200,000 and $300,000.
Yep. How about
it's a fat boy.
Yeah, but you know what? Listen, this
Chris
particular...
is like, but maybe.
He's like, hold on, my nerd's coming out.
No, not my nerd's coming out. I'm not saying it because it's Arnold or because of the Terminator. But I got to tell you, like, this particular motorcycle and this particular time in the history of Harley-Davidson, this really set a tone that was going to carry Harley-Davidson through the upswing of the bell curve they rode into glory through the baby boomers generation. You know what I mean? Like, this was a time when Harley-Davidson was still going to movie stars and movie production companies and trying to get them to use motorcycles in movies to do exactly what this man and this motorcycle did. Everybody wanted to ride that bike.
Everybody wanted a fat boy after that. What year was that? 90 what?
Let's see.
91.
91. Yep.
91. So that's what, first year Softail or first year fat boy, right?
Was that first year?
I think so. It was either 90 or 91.
I think,
right, with those orange with the orange gaskets and all that stuff.
I think 90 was the first one. It was the metallic gray with the yellow stripes.
Yeah.
And that was the whole heritage of.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, and then this one was the black and orange. So yeah, this was probably second year, but it just, for me, like it is a little bit of my geekism coming out.
I
but
never liked those bikes.
Oh, I did, dude. I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I would
not.
Listen,
I did not get the solid wheels.
If I could find a first year fat boy right now, I would own that bike and I would never change anything about it. Just for
Oh, really?
because of the historical significance. You know, like a lot of people don't understand. On the first bike, it was colored gray, just like I mean, the name Fat Boy, start with that, comes from Fat Man and Little Boy, right? Were the two bombs that the United States dropped over Hiroshima, right? They were that color gray, and they had yellow stripes on them. The amount of yellow circles that are all over that motorcycle are the same amount of yellow bands that those bombs had on it. I mean, Harley-Davidson was sending a giant, albeit politically completely incorrect message.
Seriously, you could never do that.
No, you could never do it today. You could never do it today.
We're gonna dedicate a motorcycle to killing a bunch of people.
But it was like
decimating 2 entire cities. Yeah.
Now, of course, you know, if you really follow, you know, the history and the news, everybody remembers that Reagan imposed a giant import tariff to get Harley-Davidson a chance to catch their breath again and get competitive in the market. And, you know, all of these things fell into place along with the baby boomers moving into a time where they had excess income and becoming super consumers and blah, blah, blah. But the excitement of that one motorcycle changed everything, man. It really did. And I mean, for 10 years, like you couldn't even touch it. You couldn't even touch that bike.
See, I was 18 at that point, and I couldn't even think about owning a Harley Davidson at that point.
Right.
So it wasn't until a couple of years later that it actually clicked. So.
Oh, you bastard! You just aged me.
I don't think so. I think you and I are the same age.
You guys
How old
are
are
the
you?
same age.
In 90, I was
You're
20.
what?
No, in 90, yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, you're older than me.
See?
What do you want me to tell
You aged me.
So,
He says, what do you want me to tell you?
you? Yeah. You're like 100 years old, Gandalf.
Dude, do you see this thing? Do you see this thing? Quickly, I am turning into at least Gandalf the Gray. I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah, I know. I can't grow mine out anymore. Otherwise, I just look like an old man.
But I refuse to just for men. I refuse to do it.
Dude,
Like,
if you do that, I will punch you in the face.
I will punch me.
Yeah.
I'll shave it in his sleeve.
Yep. Which leads us to some other stuff that's inappropriate to talk about here.
Oh.
Anyway, it's almost time to call Jason, but let's talk to some people on Facebook real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so let's see. We have Joe Sparrow watching, and he said, thanks for
Right
using
on.
my pic of Jason on his military 45 in your promo. Joe, you can thank Jason. He actually very kindly provided that picture to us. We've got Dean George in the house. And Scott, I'm not going to massacre your last name, but thank you for being smarter than we are. The date for Biker Bells is found when you click on the registration link. Chris Summers Simmons says it was Gloria, Laura Clock, Meg, Tony, and I. Oh, and Pat, too. I think that was the original Biker Bells. Doug Hatch is in the house. And Dan, again, not going to massacre your last name. Howdy from Milwaukee. And John Barwood is watching. John, we're going to be calling you in about a half hour here, so dig it. You may proceed, sir.
So,
the one thing I do want to say about the world's most expensive motorcycle, the pipes on it are something else. Like that welding that they did on those pipes is no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an abomination. There's no doubt about that. But I can respect the amount of time that somebody put into that. Not $1.8 million worth of time.
No.
Someone will buy it.
No.
Oh, yeah. Somebody will.
I'm going to predict it's going to end up in Dubai.
Oh, yeah.
In somebody's office in Dubai.
I could see
That's
that.
my prediction.
I think that's what they're hoping for.
Okay, so real quick, we've been bringing you guys little shop tips. Some of them have been coming in from the guys at Bill Proof. Some of them come in from our own Flat Broke Chops and Rods. I got a quick one here real quick. Wow, this is a bad...
Redundancy.
Make sure you get this quick.
This is a bad night. This is a bad night for
Redundancy.
quick news. So I have one that I want to share with you guys, and this is for anybody that's actually looking to pick up a little speed in the shop.
Hey man, it's Chris again, Cycle Source Magazine, Greasy Gears. Working away on the T-Chopper here, and I wanted to show you guys something that we're learning right now. We're actually trying to figure it out. So anybody that watches our builds knows that we like to do this molding work where, you know, we French stuff in or build up accent lines or whatever. Well, traditionally, the way you do this so that you don't have to pack a lot of mud in there is once you get your 1/4 inch rod on, you come back in with silica bronze and you dab, 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 all the way around all this line, come back in, grind, sand, file it out, whatever you do. And the whole process can be really lengthy. So what we have, actually RJ learned this, is that they are now making, and probably did before, and we didn't know about it until we heard some of the hot rod shops using silicon bronze spool and a MIG welder. And we heard how it's, saving so much time, and because the application part, and yes, I know you do this with a TIG, you might be better with a TIG, it might come out better with a TIG, you might be able to be as fast with a TIG as someone else is with a MIG, but this is for anybody who wants to pick up a little bit of speed. I have a piece of rod prepared here. I'm going to set you guys down over here and run through one. So that's a good 12-inch run that I'm going to do.
So yeah, the premise of this is a lot of the molding work that we do. By the time you spend the effort to do the silica bronze inside of all of that molding rod, it's hours and hours of just getting the bronze in. Then you still have to go through as much, if not double the time, and grinding that stuff out and sanding it smooth. What this gives you the ability to do is just in one pass dump that silicon bronze rod into the metal. What's nice about using silicon bronze, for anybody that's not familiar with this, is as you're grinding and sanding, it comes out easier than the parent metal. So you can pretty quickly take that away and end up with the same kind of results that you would with putty before paint. But what's nicer about this than putty is that it never goes away. You don't have to worry about chips and cracks and everything years down the road. It stays. And if you listen to how the MIG welder's cooking along, man, I'm ripping out a good 1.5 or 2 foot section of that in just a minute here. Which, like with a TIG welder, it would take considerably longer.
You can see how quick that laid that bead in there. For the time that took, I can get a lot more done. Me personally, like I said, there's a lot of guys out there that might be killing it with the TIG welder.
That's our quick little shop tip for today. Hope anybody that's working on a project that likes to do molding and stuff. I know a lot of the young guys today like to do their weld porn and leave their welds out, but we still do old time choppers and stuff, and we smooth all that stuff away. So
yeah, you tend to do a lot of things kind of the old school way, which is one thing
I'm old. Ken already really covered this.
Really. You're an old soul.
Oh,
isn't that sweet of her, right? All right, so let's see. Let's get our first interview underway. I suppose it's that time of the evening. Mm-hmm. Hey Jason, what's up, man? You're on the air with Chris and Ken.
What's up? That is perfect timing.
Right on.
Wow.
Just walked in the door.
We never get that.
You made it through Chicago, apparently.
Dude, that was a couple of weeks ago, and that's no joke. I just got back from Springville, Utah. Left there this morning, and got out of there a little late, and wanted to make sure I was back in time for this.
Well, dude, we've been trying to catch up with you for a couple of weeks. You're a busy man.
It's just been insane this last couple of months. I mean, just a lot going on right now.
Right on.
So for people that don't know, you've got at least 3 businesses that I know about. But can you? So I just put 2 and 2 together. Sturgis Vintage Motorcycles. That's the place right there on LaSalle. Is that right?
That's actually Gypsy Vintage Cycle.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do have a Sturgis Vintage Cycle. That's just my little hobby.
Oh, okay.
Or my
So it's not
addiction
an actual,
turned
it's
job.
not an actual, shop front, so to speak.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
So let's start off talking a little bit about the motorcycle Cannonball for anybody that's been living under a rock and doesn't know about this thing that goes on. This is historically like one of the most incredible things that's gone down in this last decade of motorcycling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just really been coming out there and just be kind of a thing to follow. I mean, it's really just a traveling museum across the country. It's gained a lot of support, from modern motorcyclists and antique motorcyclists.
Yeah, and can you tell people how it started out?
So my great friend Lonnie Isom Jr., who we lost in last August, just right after the rally. He started the event back in 2010. He had just this idea that, he wanted to get a group of buddies that were like-minded and were into antique motorcycles, and he decided to put on a coast-to-coast run. And, they ended up, I think, gaining about 50 people the first year and, really made history to show that these machines could make it across the country.
Now that first year, you guys had to have a lot of naysayers that were like, man, these bikes, like, yeah, it's one thing to pull them out of a truck and ride them around the block or take them on a little ride for a day, but to literally try to make these 100-year-old motorcycles run the whole way across the country and at pace, this was going to be something that was just, it was too crazy to be possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we get it daily still. It's like, when we pull up to a gas station or somebody sees one of these bikes at an event, like, that thing can't make it 3 blocks. And, we're really proving that, these people are figuring them out and, doing thousands of miles in just a few short weeks.
Yeah, I know that when you guys went through Sturgis, I don't know how many years ago that was, but stopped in Sturgis, I went up there to check it out, and it was quite an event. It made me want to just kind of ride along with you guys. Yeah, I guess you had like a break day there, and I got to see everyone and go to that dinner that night and everything, and it just blew my mind watching everybody, the camaraderie of everybody working on their bikes at night and getting everything together, and everything that goes along with that. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we really all have one common goal, and it's to make it across the country. I mean, it's really, a challenge between you and your machine and some of the best 2-lane back roads of America. I mean, that's really what the true challenge is of the Cannonball, to prove to yourself and, that you can take this Jurassic machine, 300 miles a day, multiple days in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had knew this, realized it in the beginning or what, but some of the greatest stories that I hear from people who are along for the Cannonball, whether they're riders or, support staff, some of the greatest stories actually come from the nightly stops and the working on bikes and the fevered tempo that people take and everyone helping each other. And that's where a lot of the real story comes from.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, what really sucked me in, I was sucked in from day one when they first announced it. And, I was a little leery that it could be done. And, I thought these people were crazy. And, when I got involved in 2012, by hosting a stop here in Sturgis and riding along and, just seeing these people at night, do a full motor rebuild, cracking the cases and putting in a new set of flywheels and rods and pistons and doing top ends and, welding off a battery. And, you just don't see that anywhere else.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, and it's a real sense of brotherhood. I know that there have been a lot of people that have, or maybe not a lot, but there's a lot of people that kind of return every year, right? Or every time that you have it. I guess it's not an every year event, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's every 2 years we do it. I mean, it just takes that long to get prepared for this thing. I mean, for us logistically and mentally and logistically for the riders also, it's a lot of work to get one of these things ready. And so yeah, I mean, this year I think we have about 60 returning riders out of about 100.
Whoa.
We've only got 3 people now that have actually done this thing every single time. So we've got 3 returning riders.
And who are they? We need to give them a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got Shinya Kimura from I think Azusa, California, Japan. Doug Feinsod from California, and then last year's winner, Frank Westfall from Syracuse.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
That they can take that amount of time and put that amount of effort and money into something like that.
Yeah.
Makes a very special person.
But dude, it's like when you participate in something like this, your name goes into the motorcycle history book. You know what I mean? Sure. Like this is one of those like truly special things that I think all of us, like, how many times have you heard somebody say, "Man, I want to make it to Bonneville someday and do something with a motorcycle"? This is that kind of thing. I mean, this has really elevated antique motorcycles and the history of motorcycling. It's just such a great thing.
So what you're saying, Chris, is that you want to do it some year?
Oh, I'd absolutely love to do it.
But, we'd love to have it.
I gotta conquer the, and actually that gives us a good opportunity to bring something up. I keep pitching to him. Check this out. So the idea is, on the off years of the Cannonball, we do a thing called bell bottoms and bed rolls, and it's all old long choppers, and we do the same thing, cross country, but no support vehicles, tool packs, and a sleeping bag on the back of the bike, and it'll be like the off year of the thing. And instead of everybody be broke as a joke, and it would just be for fun, but
sure, everybody be eating spam.
Right. Yeah, I've actually put a lot of thought into that.
Really?
And man, I next time we're together, I mean, we just got to sit down and
man,
and chat it out, because I've been brainstorming. I mean, stuff like this keeps me up at night. The next challenge for people.
Oh, listen, I'd love to help out with it however I could. So if you think it all,
look at Heather's eyes.
I know.
She's like,
hey, wait a minute. I was actually I was completely
complicit.
For this. I think it's an amazing idea. I'm totally down. Completely down for that one.
Nice.
Yeah, listen, Heather comes across as pretty proper, but she's a chopper tramp, man.
So we have a couple questions from Facebook. This year's route, Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's incredible.
So we'll be starting in Portland, Maine, September 8th, and winding up in Portland, Oregon, September 23rd. Our day off will actually be in Sturgis this year again.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you know what day that will be?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that. I think it's the 16th and 17th.
Right on.
It's a Sunday and Monday.
Have to make it up there for it.
Absolutely.
Really, it makes sense, because Sturgis was, the birth of the motorcycle Cannonball. I mean, it was Lonnie's hometown. He lived here for many years. I'm from here. It's just a historic town. So, I mean, it just made sense for us to come back here again and take a day off and enjoy it.
I do have a couple more questions. Can you, I think you might have already said this. If not, I apologize. Can you read the age range of the motorcycles that are going to be participating this year?
Everything that participates has to be manufactured before 1929. So it's 1928 and earlier.
Wow.
I believe the earliest motorcycle we have this year, I think, is in 1908.
Oh, right on.
Right.
Wow.
And
a few 1911s, 1912s. I think out of the field of 100 bikes, I want to say about 70% of them are pre-1916. I mean, these people are bringing back the 100-year-olds again. They had so much fun last time that, you know, they want to bring back these century ones again.
That's so cool.
Sorry, I read a comment from my mother, but we'll skip that for now. Jason, real quick, you have your own little fan club on here. Stephen Dorian Sims are watching. Leanne Sims. Darlene Jones loves the pictures. Let's see, Pat Fitzgerald. And Darlene says oil trails across the country to prove it. And Chris says there's still some of the oil spots are still out there, she's sure.
Oh yeah. You know, when I frequent some of these places again, I mean, that's what I look for. It's like, oh yeah, you can tell we've been here.
Now, how many people are involved in the route planning? I mean, because that's pretty intensive. Portland to Portland.
It is. I mean, and it takes us a year and a half to do it. You know, we've been on the route 3 or 4 times already. We'll do 2 more runs of it coming up with our final run, probably sometime in July. But like I said, I mean, as soon as we got done with the last Cannonball, I mean, 2 weeks later, I was working on the route for this one. You know, and the logistics. I mean, we work with 100 different cities. I believe 70 some hotels.
Wow.
You know, 14, 15 dealerships, museums, you know, convention bureaus. I mean, it's a lot of logistics.
It's a huge undertaking.
Put together.
Kudos to you. I would imagine you must have a great team behind you.
I do, you know, and my wife has really stepped it up this year and helped me out a little bit, and she's just been great. You know, she's handling all of our travel arrangements this year, and you know, without them supporting me being gone all the time, and you know, looking at new routes for possible new events and future events, I mean, you know, couldn't do it without the family for sure.
Right on. Well, nice. Your mom is here and your mother-in-law is here, so it's quite apparent just by the people that are watching right now that you do have a really great support system. So you're a lucky man.
Yeah.
Can I change gears real quick to his other? Because it's not. Yeah. I mean, he's got another huge deal that he does. You like Glencoe Campground. That's you, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's you know, our other passion that we're involved in right now. You know, this will be our third year out here, living on the grounds full time, you know, kind of taking care of some stuff and organizing everything, and you know, just trying to put on an event for the rally.
Yeah, see, those of us that work the event circles all the time know that what you're actually saying is you're preparing to run the world's largest daycare center for adults.
Actually, it's when the event gets here, I mean, that's the funnest time. I mean, it's the days leading up to it. So it's, you know, is the daycare part of it. But you know, once it's here, it's here, and you know, we have a good time, and you know, it's awesome. You know, me and my wife live on a property with the kids, and you know, we live out here by ourselves, and you know, the next week we have, you know, 10,000 plus people as our neighbors. You know, wow. And I mean, we, you know, you look past the long hours, the sleep deprivation, all that, you know, with the sheer amount of friends that you meet and make, and you know, it's a family, really.
Yeah, one of the things that I think for people who don't know Glencoe, I've stayed, not at every campground, but I've stayed at a lot of campgrounds in Sturgis. And the one thing for sure that Glencoe has above everything else is the amount of trees and shade.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, where you can camp and it's actual, like there's actual shade. And that's just not the case for a lot of other places.
No. You know, I think we have over 3,000 trees on this property.
Wow.
And, right before I left the other day, you know, we've had such a long winter and so much rain, and you know, right before I left to go to Utah, I'm out there walking in the grass, and I'm like, oh, my God, I mean, we have so much grass. I mean, I mean, I don't even know how the heck we're going to get this thing cut.
Yeah.
Because it's growing so much already. And
well, if that's the mission statement for the year, I think ticket sales just went up. Somebody just said, "What? There's a lot of grass at Glencoe, man. That's where we're staying, bro."
I'm sure there's lots of that out there too.
So it sounds, and somebody's saying, and I actually have to agree, that now between Motorcycle Cannonball and Glencoe, like, that's a double massive undertaking. You've got to be almost, if not more crazy than my husband.
Well, I mean, it's really an addiction is what it is. And you guys can attest for it. I mean, when you get involved into the family of two-wheel people, I mean, you live, eat, and breathe it.
Yeah, it pulls you along.
And, you just want to do it 24 hours a day, If I didn't have to sleep, I wouldn't, because I'd just be sucking in more information and meet more people. And,
Oh,
I just
God,
can't get
love
enough
them.
of it, really.
Yes, sir.
Yep, for sure.
And then, you throw in my addiction for old motorcycles and, tinkering with them all day long and, kids. And I mean, it's crazy, but you know what? I mean, that's what we live for.
Judy's asking, like, what started your fascination with motorcycles?
My grandfather was big into motorcycles, and really he's the one that brought me up into it. He introduced me at a very, very young age of 4 or 5 years old, I believe. And, it was like crack cocaine. I mean, as soon as I did it, I was over,
Yep.
You never quit thinking about it.
Buddy.
It's really the next high, It's starting a bike for the first time. It's riding it for the first time, like yesterday, I got to ride an original paint 36 knucklehead of a friend of mine's, I mean.
So you're obviously with Carl Olson.
No, I was actually down at Legends Motorcycles, Rick Salisbury, and he had just gotten a new 36 original paint knucklehead and started it up for the first time, and he's like, take it, I mean. And
dude, the reason I said that about Carl is one time a whole bunch of us, like a bunch of the young chopper kids, ended up at his place on the way to Sturgis, and Carl woke up in the morning, and one at a time, him and Matt pulled out 7 knucklehead motorcycles, and there was a 36 in the group too. And he said, you guys get ready, throw all them choppers in this trailer back here. He said, you're going to have a 7 knucklehead day. He said, we're all going to ride to Sturgis, and each one of you is going to get to ride every one of these knuckleheads on the way to Sturgis. And he did. He took us on these, like, virtually priceless motorcycles. And, like, we were all terrified, completely shitting our pants, and he made us ride all 7 of them. And, like, how many people could ever even say that? And I mean, that's
so awesome.
That's just that's how Carl is. Carl's such a cool cat.
Oh yeah, man, he's a great mentor, and just somebody that I look up to just because he does that. In fact, he puts you on some stuff that you may never get to ride again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and I try to do the same thing. If you're a fan, you get to take anything I got, and
and I'll tell you what, man, I know that this was Lonnie's brainchild, but really what you're doing here, every time you launch another episode of the Motorcycle Cannonball, you're giving people that have such an incredible passion for these machines and such a deep appreciation for them, you're giving them that opportunity to actually live that. You know what I mean? Because as much enjoyment as you get out of putting them together and searching for the parts and taking them to shows and the adoration you get from people, that's all fine and good. But actually, these guys are going back in time to a place where, motorcycles, like that was the adventure sport, just making it across the country on one of these bikes.
Right. No, yeah, exactly. I mean, this is really a vision quest. I mean, by the time you're done, it'll change your life. You just become one, and you wouldn't believe how many people call me after the event and say, damn, they go through PTSD. I mean, it's like a battle that we're going through, for 3 weeks straight. And then all of a sudden, you got to get back to real life, and it's like,
bummer.
you know, I mean, it is. I mean, all the time people say, "Oh, it takes me a month to get back into the normal," and you know, I just want a Cannonball all the time and just keep going. You know, I've seen people give up their careers and then go straight into motorcycling full time, and you know, building a business or a brand out of it also. So, I mean, it's really changed a lot of people's lives, you know, including mine. I mean, I'm humbled every day that, you know, I'm the current caretaker of the event, you know.
Yeah, I was hoping when I said that I wasn't being offensive at all. Like, I was, you know, I have a lot of respect for Lonnie, who started this too, and his vision and stuff, and I didn't know exactly how to say it. I mean, you're the guy, it's your gig, you know.
Well, I'm just a facilitator, really. I mean, it's really the people that do the event that it's their gig, you know. It's their, you know. I'm just there, the one to facilitate it and put it together. So, you know, like I said, I'm humbled daily.
Do you ever just wish you were still just
with these people?
Do you ever wonder, you know, when you'll just be able to go and ride it?
Oh, dude, I ride it anyway, you know.
No, yeah, but you know what I mean, where you don't have all the logistical everything along with it, or is that part of fun for you as well?
You know, it really is a challenge for me, you know, just to make sure things are kind of running smooth, and really, I mean, the people police it themselves. I mean, our people are full of integrity, and they're just great dudes, you know. There isn't that much drama. You know, we all enjoy the ride, and we all have one goal in common, you know, and it's to really have a good time. So
nice.
You know, the only thing that we still need that I could ride an old bike again, you know, during the event. Yeah, but you know, there's that chance of breaking down, and you know, I got to be, you know, kind of one of the first people to the city to make sure and see people in. So, yeah, I take the modern Indian, and you know, we have a good time.
Nice. That's awesome.
Ryan Layton Allen says it's the closest thing to time travel. I'm assuming, is he one of your riders?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
right
Ryan's a character, you know, and he's absolutely right. I mean, it really is. I mean, it does really take you back to, you know, you're traveling these 2-lane back roads that, you know, most people will never even find, you know, on any map or anything. And you think to yourself, what were these guys doing back in the 20s and 30s?
Right.
Know? Were they doing the same exact thing? Were they thinking the same exact thing I am right now? You know, it really is. It takes you back.
Generally, everybody probably gets the same thing. Oh, dear God, if you get me out of this, then you start making the promises.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, we each event we have some kind of just crazy thing happen. You know, rain, torrential rains, tornadoes, extreme cold, ice, snow. You know, we endure it all. You know, you know, last year we went from having to call off a day because of the rains were so bad.
Wow.
You know, 2 days later being 115 degrees. You know, wondering like, damn, I'm just gonna melt.
Quick question from Facebook: If people want to help out or volunteer, do you take volunteers at your cities at any of your stops, or are there any things that you need along the way if people want to be involved and help out the Cannonball?
You know, I wish we could involve everybody. I mean, at this time we're really full on all our volunteers. You know,
that's fantastic.
You know, if you want to be a part of it and you want to help, just come out and support us. You know, come talk to a rider, say hi to them, ask questions. These people just feed on, you know, giving people knowledge of what they're doing and how they're doing. And, you know, really that's the best help that we can give is to, you know, encourage these guys to, man, you're doing great, and, you know, pick their brain a little bit.
Well, and it's quite likely too that there's a rider that's somewhere near your area. You know, if you're really looking for somebody to help out, you know, look and see who's involved in this thing, man, and see if there's anything you can do to help somebody in your area go and participate in this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we've almost got every state this year covered with some kind of rider. And I believe we have 23 foreign riders this year.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's fantastic. And hopefully this is okay for me to mention. I know a lot of the teams that participate, they fund this themselves, and can be a costly endeavor. So I know some of them are selling T-shirts to help fund their Cannonball. So people could probably get involved that way if they just pay attention to who's riding. They almost all cover it on their Instagram and Facebook page. Because it is a huge deal for them. For some of them, it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It really is. I mean, the financial commitment that these riders have to make, if they are still working, it's a full month. And that's not counting the preparation, the year and a half ahead of time to, put these things together, and the time they need to take off work and away from their family. And, so the little merchandise things that they're putting out, and, it is a good way to support them.
Where can people stay up to date with the schedule of stops and all that good stuff?
So we're going to start, starting next week, we're really going to start promoting our hosted stops of where we're going to be stopping at lunch, where we're going to be at night. And really the best place to see us is, on the website at motorcyclecannonball.com or, on our Facebook page. We try to keep the information out there. So a lot of information is going to start coming out here in the next couple of weeks.
Excellent.
That's great. Well, we'll make sure that we'll stay up to date with you guys. When you get on the road and beforehand, we'll make sure we update people and that sort of stuff as well.
Oh yeah,
as much as we can.
Man,
absolutely.
I'll tell you what, like just to go waste some time on the Facebook page for this event, because the pictures alone, you will get lost in the pictures of the adventure these guys go through, man. That's incredible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just for fun the other day, I hadn't done it for a while. I got on Google and just Googled motorcycle Cannonball, and I think I got lost for 7 hours of just looking at old photos from all the events. And there's a lot of stuff I hadn't seen on there. I mean, that's the power of social media. Now you get to see a lot of stuff that normal people have taken and put on there.
So the question is, why has nobody made a documentary about this? I mean, I know that there was one made that I saw, but I mean, why hasn't there been a documentary made?
To this point, it's we pursued it. We've talked to people. My biggest thing right now is really keeping the integrity of the event. Like I said, it's really life-changing, and I don't want, some camera or some drone, ruining the experience that these people are getting,
Man, I just thought of the perfect marriage, though, from our guest from last week, Ken. Why we ride old bikes.
Yeah, Brian Carroll. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's great. I mean, that's I love that. I mean, I go to that thing all the time. I mean, it's inspiration.
Yeah. Cinematically, yeah, he's got it on lockdown for sure.
That would be a killer documentary, like the interviews and stuff behind this whole thing. That would be killer. That'd be killer.
And we have been doing some stuff like that already at some different events that we've been to, and we will have some stuff there. We just never put anything out there professionally to sell or to market yet. So, like I said, it's the integrity of the event's number one.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Cool. Well, I know you probably got a ton of stuff to do. It sounds like you just walked in the door, but we really appreciate you taking the time with us today.
My
pleasure. I mean, I love this show. I mean, I'm glad that you guys are doing it. Puts out great information there every week, and I hope you guys keep with it.
Well, real quick too, tell everybody where they can find more information about the Glencoe Campground. And what do you guys have special coming up this year?
So this year is our 35th anniversary of being in business. So, we've got some special stuff planned this year with, entertainment and events. And, I'm working on some stuff to bring back some old school events. And, we just want it to be about the experience and having fun, and making it affordable for people. That's been our number one goal from day one with Glencoe is, have reasonable prices and not gouge people.
Right on.
Well, make sure you keep us or add us at least to your PR list. We'd love to help you spread the word on everything you have going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Even starting next week on that, we're going to start announcing all our big act entertainment and stuff like that, and some of the other events that we're going to do, and things that we'll be doing, and supporting other venues and stuff like that too. So
I know I have to thank you. We always see you at our AMCA day that we host at
Oh, that's the best thing that's happened to Sturgis, in the last few years.
Oh, right
honestly.
on. Thank you. That means an awful lot to me. That's kind of my pet project. It's one of my favorite days of the week.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
I'm more than
and Wednesday just happens to be my busiest day ever. The day that it's held on. And
Well, it's good. We're moving the day.
Away.
We're moving the day this year.
Oh, you are?
Yep.
What day?
Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
I gotta put it on my calendar.
We're gonna move it to Monday. That way, it seems like everything else is cleared out of the way for that. So Monday we'll do it. Start off the week kind of chill, and then that way we can be there for the whole day too, and really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I don't want to put you on the spot, but there's only one thing to make that event better.
What's that?
If it was at Glencoe?
No, not even that. Let's do a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm down with that.
We can do that.
Listen, coming to think of it, what would be really cool if all the guys were down for it is do an old time Sturgis ride. Let's go up the back hill on the fire road that looks over the city and ride out the back, like past the lake and stuff.
Right.
That would be cool. I would be totally down for that.
We could do that. Maybe we could do a breakfast ride and have everybody lined up.
Yep.
So much better riding in the morning than it is.
Right on.
Oh yeah.
I will work on that. That is my new goal for this year because I just think it sounds fantastic.
All right, I'll help you out on that too. So.
All right on. Thank you.
Cool.
Awesome. Jason, thank you so much. I know I was hounding you.
I'm just finally glad I was home for at least a minute to, sit down and be able to chat with you guys.
Right on.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Jason.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, man.
All right.
Thanks for being on here with us.
All right. Ride safe. Bye.
That's so good, man. So good when you hear about these people, and we had met him before and stuff, so we knew what kind of person he is. But so good when, somebody that you hear about this guy and he does this and he does that, and when you sit down and talk to him, he's just a total motorcycle junkie, just like the rest of us, man. He's absolutely obligated up to his neck.
Oh yeah, over obligated, just like you.
Right. I love him.
Nice.
So
yeah, that was great.
We should probably try to hurry up and get Mr. Barwood on because he's been waiting for a little bit.
Real quick, I have to say hi to Willie T. Jones is in the house.
Right
Willie
on.
doesn't usually make it. Hey, Willie.
I saw he rode his motorcycle the other day for the first time. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Super happy about that.
And Willie, for anybody that doesn't recognize the name, is the very same indeed world famous Willie from Tropical Tattoo that does the coolest show ever to happen in Daytona 2 times a year.
Chopper time.
For sure. Well, and hey, we've got if you go to Forever Two Wheels, you can actually listen to an interview that Chris and I did with Willie, and you can also listen for an interview of Lonnie Isom Jr. that I did several years ago.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, he let me into his shop, and I walked into his shop, and my jaw dropped on the ground. I was like,
I keep saying the same thing to you.
There was like $1 million worth of motorcycles right in front of me, in this barn, and
I keep saying the same thing to you, man, that one of these days you're going to look back over the collection of material that you put into Forever Two Wheels, and you're going to realize what an important role in the history of this, because before we know it, God please let it happen later than sooner, but before we know it, a lot of these names and faces are going to be gone. You know what I mean?
There's some ones that I already regret, man, that didn't happen. John Green being one of them, for sure.
Yep. God rest his soul. I miss John every day. It'd be so great to go back and listen to that voice and, you can
hear the
just-
truth.
Yeah.
That's what he spoke.
Boy,
He spoke the truth.
you ain't
He
kidding.
did not mince words.
You are not kidding one bit.
Yeah, I don't want to miss any more of those. So
All right,
got to get
well,
them. Just get it done.
let's see if we can get lucky enough to have 2 calls in a row that answer.
Hello there.
Long John, what's up, baby? You're on the air with Chris and Ken on ShopTalk.
How are you guys?
Oh, dude, we're so
Pretty good.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's been a crazy news night. Neither Ken nor I have had enough something or
Know
too
what
much
the hell's going on?
too much other things. Like we kind of just bumbled through the news and
Fortunately, we have Heather. So she's kept us on track.
Someone's got to lay down the rules, huh?
but I mean, listen, this comes from an honest place. We're motorcycle people doing motorcycle shit and like sometimes it's the best you get.
Yeah.
Right.
So, my man, you are one of the passion built builders for Michael Lichter this year. How does that strike you?
Weird, I feel like I couldn't be any more honored to be invited to something like that. And for me, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for sure, so I'm going to put my best foot forward and hope I live up to the level that everybody else is seeming to live up to in the world out there.
Now, listen, Ken, like honestly, John has been a fixture in the motorcycle community as I've known it for a long time. I mean, he has several motorcycles that I've completely drooled all over. So I have no doubt of the quality of the machine that you're bringing to this thing. And like, it makes sense, man. When Michael told me what he was doing this year, I went through the quick list in my head and you were right at the top of it. You are the perfect fit for this.
Nice.
Man, that makes me smile.
Right on.
Super good. Yeah.
So in your day gig, you do some incredible artwork. You are a skin modification specialist.
Yeah, that's the technical that's the new modern terminology for professional tattooer, I guess.
Right on.
Yeah.
So the artwork background, I mean, that's, a few years ago, Michael did the Skin and Bones, around Richie Pan and the late
Correct.
Richie Pan, God rest his soul. But the artwork, that's got to help you a lot because you're looking at things from an artistic perspective. You're looking at, contrasting colors and use of negative space and, a lot of things that the average person might not look at when they're building a bike.
And that really is my strong point. It's just I'm that guy that I do things that look good from 10 or 20 feet away. You get too close and you see that I'm not a professional. But when you stand back and you look at the entire picture, it all becomes clear.
Oh, I doubt that. But it sounds like the bikes that I've seen are something to behold. The thing that I think is really cool about Passion Built is that the builders, I feel like yourself, are going to go. They're really going to put their best foot forward. I think Chris and I have both known of this show and been involved in it some way, shape or form for years. And I know that there were a few years there where people kind of didn't take it as seriously. We got some bikes in there that weren't finished. We got bikes that didn't show up. And I feel like this kind of class of builders this year, because of guys like you, John, that people are going to put their best foot forward. They're going to build bikes specifically. Yeah, they're going to bring it specifically for this. They're going to unveil it there, just like Michael. That used to be the requirement. You had to. The bike couldn't be seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited to see the collection of bikes this year, as well as artwork.
Well, I've never I've never had the opportunity nor the inspiration to build a show bike before. I've done a bunch of rider bikes for myself and friends and stuff like that. So this is a chance for me to try and elevate my skill set and do things a little better than I ever have before. And in addition to that, I intend to ride my motorcycle to Sturgis.
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
that's so
so
badass.
on. Best thing I've heard all day.
And that's what I'm talking about right there, man. That's real.
That's so cool.
That's real shit.
As far
Nice.
as elevating this build, Ken, have you seen the wheels that Long John's using? They are 24 karat gold plated Invaders.
Whoa.
They're incredible.
Let me see, because John actually sent me a couple. I'm not going to do the whole bike here, but there's a couple sneak peeks, and I can bring it up and show you guys at least the
You gotta show those wheels.
Yeah,
I haven't
I
seen them.
saw those and I was like,
there you go.
damn.
It is a sexy, sexy motorcycle. Just from the skeleton of it so far, man. That's gonna be badass.
I hope so. Working on it. Time's slipping by, and I feel like I get behind the 8 ball at times, but I'm still plugging ahead and doing what I can for it.
Make them feel a little better. So let me tell you, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Chris is an invited builder as well.
Yes,
And
I knew.
we have a box of parts.
Listen.
We don't even have a roller yet. John.
Wait a minute though.
Hey,
It's a pretty full box. It's a pretty full box of parts.
So-
my parts list is damn near complete.
Not like we can't even say we're behind the 8 ball. We're not even on the table.
I got quarters on the rail. God damn it. My quarters are on the rail. I'm looking to shoot.
Maybe Chris has more skilled friends than I do to help out. We'll see.
No. That's the deal with this one for me. The only skilled friend that I have that's going to help me with this, other than, Mr. Donnie Luce is helping out with the motor to make sure my motor's sounding true. But other than that, the basic part of the hardtail of the frame, me and Will Ramsey are going to do together, and then the rest of this bike
sweet.
is going to be Heather and I. So
Very cool.
anything else that goes on with it. It's been the last time I was invited to Michael Lichter's exhibit was when I finished Bored to Death. And that was a bike that Heather and I did together too. So this is like keeping in that tradition. I'm not gonna ask a bunch of my friends to help, and I don't look down on anybody else that might be doing that, but that's just what I'm doing.
So
Super
Derek
cool.
Mayhew just said, just wait 2 or 3 months before it works every time. I think I was on their website today and it said we had 56 days left.
Yeah.
Please don't do
Yeah.
that to me.
Yep.
Please don't.
Yeah, it's less than 90 days for sure.
So yeah.
You guys are so brutal.
I'm super excited to see the finished product of what you're doing, John. I really am. I mean, aside from, I know Chris and I don't get to see you and Pinky very often, but you guys are 2 of our favorite people on the planet. So I'm glad that you're invited, just because I know we'll get to see you in Sturgis.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Every year we try to get out and spend. This is the next thing that we're going to talk about. We try to spend your event with you. John does a thing called the Choptown Campground, and we want to talk about that for a little bit, man. That you guys just had this event, and another year in a row we miss it because we're sad ass magazine losers. But it's the premise is simple: ride a chopper, sleep in the dirt.
Absolutely, as it should be.
Right on.
I kind of correlate it to like the Arizona version of BMR.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It kind of is. That's how I have it in my head, so I know it's awesome.
That's probably very, very true. We've been doing it for 9 years now, and we're finally starting to get good at it. And I fully intend to get to BMR sometime soon too, but proximity and such just makes it a challenge for both of us, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, you're welcome out on our parts anytime.
We would love to be a part of that one day.
One of these years, the timing is going to line up right. You know, we started. I actually stole a page out of your handbook. I got to tell everybody that, because everybody thought I was such a badass because I packed up all the desk and computers and everything. And Heather and I have been living on the road in a miniature way doing the magazine, and that was something I got from you guys years ago. When we used to go all over the place all the time with the Limp Nicky lot, you'd show up with your camper van and like there you were, ready to work and party and hang out.
Yep, and that was a really great time for Pinky and I, and we met so many awesome people that we would not know had we not gotten out of our comfort zones and gotten out there in the world and mixed it up with people, you know, and it's changed our lives all for the better.
Right on.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So Ken, do you hear how laid back John is?
I do.
Okay,
I can hear it in his voice.
One night we're in Las Vegas during Las Vegas Bike Fest, and if there's anything that John loves more than anything else in this world, it's Pinky. And some peckerhead comes past and almost hits her with a motorcycle.
Oof.
John went to jail that night. More cops from Vegas than I've ever seen at one time came out of nowhere. It's like they were hiding under rocks. But man, I'll tell you what, I saw the anger in this man's eyes, and I'd never seen him like that before. And I was just like, oh, listen. I
get it because it's Pinky, but I just cannot picture you like that, Long John. I just can't.
Well,
but because it was Pinky, I get it.
Everybody has another side to their personality, correct?
Yes, sir. The motto here is don't piss them off. That's what I'm saying. Right on. Well, cool. So you're riding a Sturgis from Arizona. We should, you know what we should do?
What's the power plant?
It's shovel, right?
It's a
Flat slab?
53 panhead bottom with a shovel top on it, 93 cubic inch.
Let's bring another little sneak peek up. Yes.
So that gives you an extra week or two, right? Because you don't have to put it on the truck to get it up there.
Actually, it kind of shortens my time frame, and I'm sort of dealing with that now because I need to have this motorcycle up and running here in the next 2 weeks so that I can go do break-in miles and ruin the stuff that I can ruin before I take it apart and make it all pretty.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm really feeling the time crunch now, and it's crazy because Sturgis is not even on my radar yet, but the pressure of trying to do something like this on a time frame is really messing with my head. I got to be honest, you know.
Well, yeah, cause and it's got to be hard because your shop, Sacred Skin Tattoo, out in Payson, you guys keep really busy.
We do. We do. We're in a small town, and
and you're trying to build this bike between running a business with Pinky and keeping, food on the table and bills paid and all that stuff, and build a show quality rideable bike. That's got to be, a tough balance sometimes.
I actually took my first half day at the shop today, as a matter of fact, to come home and work on making forward controls.
All right on.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge sometimes. I try not to work too hard because that makes boring people, but it's fun. It's a challenge though, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But you have a good support system. Again, you and Pinky both are some of my favorite people ever, and I know she's got your back probably 110% on this, I would imagine.
Super, super lucky is what I am.
Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm sure you've got tons of work to do on that bike. We don't want to keep you too long. Got to get back to making those forward controls.
Right on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, John, I can't thank you enough for being on here with us tonight and letting people get a look. We set out with the mission here to really give people a look behind the scenes with Michael's gallery and exhibit this year, and and try to dispel any of the people out there that were like, not really getting this and saying, well, Michael's doing a show all around amateurs. Absolutely furthest thing from the truth. Like Heather said, the real talent comes through in somebody that has so much passion for something that they squeeze in the time, they squeeze in the money, they find ways to do this, and it's always been that way in the part of the motorcycle culture that I love. So we appreciate you letting people take a look at that.
Well, hey, I appreciate the invite from Michael and from Motorcycles as Art, and I'm going to absolutely do my very best to make each and every one of them proud,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where can people get some more information on the Choptown Campground, because that's a killer event. The pictures I'm sure are going to start rolling up.
Something, the only advertising, the only information that we have for Choptown is on Facebook, and our Facebook page is called Choppertown Camparound Phoenix.
There you go.
Right. I know we'll have a story on it in Cycle Source coming up in a couple issues, I think. So people will be able to see some of the shenanigans from last weekend pretty shortly here.
We do have fun, that's for sure.
Yeah, buddy. That's why it pains us every year when we miss it, because it's like, there's a list. Heather and I have a punch list of stuff that we want to do, like, the bucket list of our motorcycle time. Like, we want to do the El Diablo, we want to do Chopper Town, like these couple things, and like, damn, man, every year the Cosmic Shed run in Texas, I got to get on that ride once.
Stupid motorcycle magazine.
This stupid thing we do.
Yeah, but without you guys and without Cycle Source, we all wouldn't know what everybody's up to anyway. So y'all do your part, whether it's from Pittsburgh or Florida or Texas or wherever you happen to be.
Right on, baby. Well, listen, again, thank you, man, and give our best to Pinky, and hopefully we get to stand beside each other for a little bit more than just Sturgis this year.
I totally agree with that comment.
Right on.
Can't wait to see that bike in person for sure.
Oh, well, I hope I can put a smile on people's faces.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt, man. You take care of yourself, buddy. We'll talk to you real soon.
Yeah, I appreciate the phone call.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
I absolutely love Michael's show this year. Every single person that we've talked to is just
real deal.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yep.
And the humility that each one has that we've talked to is fantastic.
For sure.
So real quick, I have to rewind actually to last week's show, because you just triggered it for me. There was a comment made that I really wanted to get out and I didn't. So Nick Bolio, which I said right, Forever Two Wheels Maine.
Whoa.
Started a new drinking game last week, thanks to you, Chris.
Really?
Every time you say right on, he takes a shot.
Oh, you did not just hit me with that. You did not just live on this goddamn show. Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
What if I say right on?
My wife.
Oh, I can't believe I held that for a whole week. It's amazing.
Right on. Now I'm going to say it a lot, and your little ass is going to be drunk.
That's right.
All right, well, let's try to book through some more of the news, man, because there's still a bunch. Yeah. Hey, look, one more moment of self-promotion. The Cycle Source finally, after 6 months of beating my head against the wall, has a new website. Greatest thing about it, man, is it's, streamlined. We've cut down a lot of stuff, made it, way more user-friendly to people with cell phones. There's some new features on here, like the event calendar. You could submit events to anything you see a dot on. You can see events that are going on around the country.
Click on it. Show them what happens. Not that one.
Okay. So there we are, Progressive Greasing Gears Garage at Ohio Bike Week. All you do is click on these things and boom, it comes up, tells you what's going on. It gives you, basically all the news that we put through the magazine, that we put onto our blog is all nice and compartmentalized here. It also has, this is super cool, readers rides, which I've been dying to do this for years. These are actual submitted reader ride photos, and you can submit one too. Show us your bike, show us what you're doing, and your information pops up here. You know, the rest of the stuff, man, like all our tech, read about us, about our staff, everything, but nice and clean all in one package. And we really want to thank the people from the In Motion team for doing such a killer job for us.
I'm very excited about the event calendar and the readers rides.
Yeah?
I am. I like the fact that people will be able to keep better track of where we are, but they'll also be able to, you know, if somebody's hosting a charity run or there's a new event coming out, they can submit that and we'll get that up there for them.
So,
and my mother's going to start drinking now. Right on, Judy.
Speaking of right on, let's talk about Ride for a minute. Ride rolls on to New York City after big Western region attendance.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? So Ride, tell everybody about Ride, Ken.
I don't know what it stands for. It's some acronym, Ride Initiative, blah blah blah. Anyways, it's supposed to get kids on motorcycles, and adults. They go to Monster Jam. The people at the MIC set it up. They got Held, I believe, or it's Feld Entertainment to do the whole thing. And there's basically kind of courses that people can and kids can get all geared up and learn how to ride a motorcycle. I think it is a fantastic, okay, everybody heard it, fantastic idea. The fact that they've only had 1,700 kids on motorcycles seems like not a lot. Yeah. For the amount of money that's probably been put into it, yeah. I mean, I just think about the amount of dealerships that are out there that if an OEM really took a hold of this, let's say Honda. How many Honda dealerships are there in the United States, right? They get all their dealerships to go, yeah, you know what? First Monday, the first weekend of every month, you guys are going to have a kids learn to ride. You know, you're going to have it out in the parking lot, and anybody can come in and learn, and you'll have, you know, in the first month, you'll have 3,000 kids that learn how to ride, you know, and that's how it's done. You know, I think it's a great, like I said, I think it's fantastic. I just wish that we could take it and make it bigger. So well, I'd love to have somebody from the MIC on here to hear what their what their goals are.
Let's put a call out to Tim Boucher, man. I mean, Tim is pretty active, you know what I mean, and he's not afraid to speak in public on stuff. Let's see if we can get a hold of him and get him on here to see exactly where this thing is headed. You know, what their plans are, because
it's super important.
It is. I mean, this is an industry wide across all platforms in all niches. This is something that's important to everybody, is getting young people riding motorcycles again.
And I could care less whether they're riding ATVs. I don't think it's the same thing. It's like, you know, and that's the thing, is that they've got ATVs, UTVs, whatever, that they can ride. And like, I get it. But to me, it's not the same. You know, power sports are not the business we're in. We're in the motorcycle business.
Okay.
Right. Hey, I'm just saying.
Right on.
Well, I find it interesting that when you look at it, Ride is funded by MIC members, BMW, Honda, Husqvarna, Kawasaki, KTM, Polaris, Suzuki, and Yamaha.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that are funding this program.
Yep.
What's missing? Hello?
Yeah.
You think?
What two things are missing, really, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, Polaris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of all encompassing, but you know, if they really want to reach their goal of 2 million new riders.
Yeah.
Hello. We got to start them when they're young.
Well, yeah, because if they're, you know, in 10 years they'll be 20.
Yeah.
You know, 22. Like, that's the real. Anyways,
and
you and I talk about this every week. People are so bored of listening to us talk about this.
Hey, but listen, look, they're selling used bikes in India, Ken. Don't give up yet,
right.
baby.
Well, no, I mean, they're not, because even, you know, Barclay Smashy just said, you know, Harley needs to do that and build a kid's bike, even if it's just an electric powered one. We completely agree with you.
Yep.
Or a rebranded Japanese one. Does anybody care?
Right. And
Does-
apparently
does
they may be
anybody
listening.
care? No.
Yeah, right.
But
She said
Yeah, they might be
they
listening,
might be
yeah.
listening. So
I hope so. If
Thank
you're
you,
listening.
Missy.
So here's something I want to jump to another piece of news. This is another thing we got to give mad props out to the guys from Builtwell. Fielded a race team for the Nora Mexican 1000 and finished this 1,000-mile desert race on a Sportster. You guys are super badasses, in my total opinion. Now,
Hard asses.
yeah. Good for you. I mean, go to their website at builtwellinc.com. You can check out all the pictures of their adventure and read about it. I mean, as you see, as I'm scrolling down here day after day, they have maps of what their adventure, held for the rider. But it's basically a Baja style race, man. That is really about endurance. Okay, I'm not sure what that picture was, but that's the guys at Builtwell. But anyway, man, good for you guys for putting something like this together, because, in a time where everybody's trying to find their way back to the nuts and bolts of the passion of this thing, it's stuff like this right here that, we got to give commendation out to. So good for you guys.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
That is not something that I would want to do.
Oh my God.
I want to do the race, but not on a Sportster.
Could you imagine?
Yeah. That'd be super fun, though. I mean, there's something very being on a bike for more than a day at a time, and then being out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's something very appealing to me about that.
Really? I mean, I don't know. That was kind of, granted, we were on a full dresser, but that was kind of Chris and I's honeymoon. There were a lot of times we were literally in the middle of nowhere.
I love it.
18 days. It was amazing. It was the best trip of my life. And I would do it again tomorrow if we had time. Stupid magazine.
Yeah.
And that's why I married her right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's affected just like me.
Well, and the fact that most of the time our cell phones didn't work, that was even better.
Yeah. That for sure.
You know what I got to tell you about that? And we talked about this in the article that we wrote, but we set out early on, we said, okay, well, what are we going to do with this ride? And we said, okay, we're not going to make a plan whatsoever. We're not going to say what time we'll ride to every day, what time we'll start, where we'll end. We're not going to set goals. We're just going to go. When we feel like going, we'll go. When we feel like stopping, we'll stop. When we feel like seeing something, we will.
The only thing we knew when we left Sturgis was we were going west. That was it.
And the funny thing about that is the more we held to the fact that we had no plan,
the more people got upset with us.
They were furious. They were pissed that we wouldn't. What do you mean you're going to be in that area? You have to stop. And it's like, no, man.
When are you going to be here? I don't know.
We might.
Could be tomorrow. Could be 4 days from now. Don't really know. It was awesome.
It was.
Yeah.
So
it's good times. Let's go to
on.
the Harley Davidson media thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah.
Harley Davidson bars media from annual meeting, but can't hide poor performance.
Yeah, so it sounds like they had, typically local papers at least go in there, and there's a lot of, I think there would have been a lot of questions asked, right? That they didn't necessarily want to have to answer, that everybody knows, whether it's plant closures, why are our top brass being paid so much money when clearly are not doing very well? There's a whole bunch of questions that everybody knows the answer to, but they just don't want to have to say it out loud. So it's a bummer, because it's, I don't think it's going to work, from a guy who does PR for a living, I would say. Just not a great way to do it. I understand why they did it, but I don't think it's going to necessarily be the best.
Well, because doesn't it just almost raise more suspicions? Totally. Kind of like,
it doesn't.
What are we
for
really
for people
missing?
in the media, it's just proof positive. You know what I mean?
Right.
But here's what I have to say about it. You have the balls to do that. Just have the balls to come out and answer the tough questions. You know what I mean? Because the truth is the truth. What you need right now is a little space to get your shit together. Just tell the media, hey, get off my back. Like we're trying to restructure some stuff here. That's what's going on. And if the investors don't like it, that's tough tits. Like there's no guarantees in the market because you put your money in something that you're always going to do well. This era of ravenous capitalism the United States has been.
Here we go.
Whatever.
Here we go. I start saying ravenous capitalism.
It is ravenous capitalism. There's nothing healthy about it, dude. There's nothing healthy about it. Back in a time when some of the greatest companies in this country built this country through the Industrial Revolution, they also built towns and schools and amusement parks and communities.
And they didn't just put it in their pocket. Yep.
Yeah. And now all we're doing is building quarterly reports for shareholders, and it can't always be that way. We have to get back to a place where we build a product. We build a product, we build a community around it.
Yeah, and you got to think about the future, right? So instead of taking all this money and putting it into millennial marketing, go out there and make a difference and put kids on motors. God damn it.
There, see, now you're on your soapbox, right? It's not just me. I don't want to be labeled as that guy.
Soapbox. We should have at least have a little dancing emoji soapbox thing when you and I start getting on our soapbox. Heather can just push it. I should
control it.
Yeah, Heather can just push a button and there's just a little guy up there just dancing around on a soapbox.
Here's something that's near and dear to my heart. A lot of people might not realize this, but for years and years I've run the number 69 on my dirt bike, on my touring motorcycle. It's at the end of my email.
Classy, Chris. Classy.
But what people don't realize is I've ran that number because of Nikki Hayden. Nikki Hayden was tragically taken from us last year. His hometown is unveiling a statue in June of this year to honor him. I mean, unarguably one of the greatest racers to ever come out of the United States, across all platforms, eventually making it into World Superbike. He was a super high contender in that, even, brought wins to America. I've been following his career forever, and I can't wait to go visit this statue myself. I think it's so great that,
it's in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yeah. Good for them. Mm-hmm. Good for them, because he's a hero to a lot of people.
Indeed.
And that was one of the gifts that I got you that kind of sucked you in. I got him an autographed Nikki Hayden hat for Christmas.
Whoa.
Man. I'm telling you, she's good. She's good.
That's impressive.
She is good. So some stuff we're working on. Obviously, next weekend we're going to be out at the Ohio Bike Week with Grease and Gears Garage. We're also doing a bike show out there, event information to follow. Check our Facebook and all of that. But one of the things we're going to be doing, the guys from Chop Source are working with us, and this nifty rotisserie frame jig that they make, we're going to be building this thing on stage live in front of everyone. Went today and picked up the material. Some of these fixtures I have now, some of them are on their way any day here, and should be kind of cool. So if you can't catch it live through Facebook, we'll be posting this on our YouTube and everything too, so stay tuned for that.
One last bit of news.
Okay. What do you
got? Travis Pastrana.
Oh yeah.
To reenact Evel Knievel's iconic stunts.
Oh my God, I know.
What in the hell is he thinking?
So, as we were looking at that today, we just pulled up some random Travis Pastrana YouTube videos. Dude is nuts. I mean,
he's
the mega ramp. The mega ramp alone is reason enough that he should be committed for an awfully long time, because they jump everything from that thing. Push scooters, wheelchairs, couches, buses. Yeah, he's nuts.
Yeah. Dude is crazy. When is he doing this?
Nitro Circus.
So here it is to reenact Evel Knievel's iconic stunts. On the Scout FTR 750.
Exactly. Which is
crazy.
Yeah. I'll tell you something about this cat, because I've known Travis since back in the days of the RM Cup, and to watch him, this is another person that Travis doesn't do what he does for the need for fame and glory and everything else. Travis is really another person that's totally infected with motorcycle. to watch him at a racetrack, like when he would come out to the RM Cups, even at the height of his fame, he would sit there and, like, in between rounds, he'd have 34 kids around him that all wanted autographs and stuff. And he would, amble over to the snow cone truck and buy 34 snow cones, and he would just sit around with the kids and just eat snow cones. And, like, he is such an ambassador for the sport that, like, I commend him for the person that he is, above and beyond everything else that he does. This is going to be sick, because if he's really going to go after some of the most iconic jumps, like they say here on the website, the Caesar's Palace jump, the LA Coliseum jump, like, it's heavy.
We know what Indians spending their money on.
Like,
right?
Seriously, the only thing I can say is thank God he's not my kid. Like, his poor mother. Good God.
So we all know that this is, right? Like, Indian is doing this for a reason, right? They had recently cover of Cycle World, and maybe it's not on the cover, but in the new Cycle World number 2 or whatever, they went and rode the FTR 1200, right? Mm-hmm. This is the FTR 750. Yeah. There will be an FTR like production motorcycle in 2019. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
doubt
reason that they are putting this much effort into a motorcycle that you cannot buy.
Well, and dude,
unless you can go and buy one.
At least some of it would start to make sense, right? I mean, good for them. Good for them. Yeah.
And everything that, like, okay, at least we're starting to connect the dots here.
Good for them.
So, yep. I mean, and this is 100% conjecture. I have not talked to anybody. I am just trying to kind of connecting the dots here. And if they don't, shame on them. Shame on them.
So Pastrana will be jumping an Indian Scout FTR 750 when he looks to pay tribute to Evel Knievel, the founding father of motorcycle stunts, surpass America's most iconic daredevil. Evel Live, an unprecedented 3-hour event premiering Sunday, July 8th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on History Channel. In partnership with Nitro Circus, see Travis Pastrana attempt 3 of Knievel's most famed jumps on the Scout FTR 750.
Where is it actually happening, though?
It's got to happen at the 3 locations. I mean, it's got to happen at Caesar Palace.
How are they going to do that and not have it out right ahead of time? Before...
In this day and age, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I want to actually be there. That would be amazing.
So if the show comes out, we know that he doesn't crash on the first 2 stunts because he wouldn't have been able to do the third one. Right? Because those were set like years apart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the Evils were because he just ragdolled. Yeah. Anyway. I wonder, do you think he's going to rock Evel Knievel suit? You think he's going to do that?
He's got to.
Or some he'll pay
some
homage and
some.
I wonder,
yeah, he's got to pay. Yeah, I would say that's probably more appropriate.
I wonder if it'll be in Travis colors though, you know, because Travis has his own color scheme. I wonder if he'll do an Evel Knievel suit, but in Travis's, like, you know, what is it, the yellow and red and black like he always wears.
What kind of weirdos are we? We're talking about what he's gonna wear. What's wrong with us?
Creepy. Moving on, let's talk about some upcoming events.
Okay. Real quick. Couple events that we want to pay attention to. The
Greasy Dozen is this weekend.
Yes. It is.
You said that last week.
No, I said last week. I said it was next week.
Last week was Chopper Town Campground.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pay attention, Ken.
Sorry, I can't keep up with you guys.
Also coming up pretty quick, the 4th annual Brewtown Rumble,
which we are proud sponsors of.
Right around the corner.
I'm very excited.
Milwaukee. A variety of vintage bikes, predominantly 35 years and older. The thing I like most about this event is it's very, very diverse. Like the motorcycles you see there, it's not like the chopper kids, it's not like the hipsters, it's not, you know, the cafe guys. You see a nice mix of motorcycles. Really cool show.
Do you still consider yourself a chopper kid?
I do. At heart, I'm a chopper kid, even though
kid.
Just a grouchy old bastard. No, but
You're not a kid.
shut up, Ken.
You're a chopper, grouchy old bastard.
Gettysburg Bike
That's
Week
the
coming
next
up.
T-shirt. Chopper, grouchy old bastard.
Gettysburg Bike Week. I'm changing the subject, goddammit. Gettysburg Bike Week coming up July 12th through the 15th, 2018. Check them out. Lita Ford going to be there. Jackal.
And Parmalee.
And Cycle Source Magazine.
Yeah, we're doing a show.
And Conti.
Ken Connie's going to be there. We're going to have a big old time.
We're not doing a ride. We're doing mini bike races. It's gonna be fun.
Mini bike races
awesome.
down in the bike game field. So that'll be.
If you have a mini bike, bring it. Costumes are even better.
Bring it.
Costumes too.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, this is going to get out of
I will
hand.
get to wear my cape.
On
It's
the
at-
outside.
Did you not hear? It's at 2 a.m, Chris.
Right?
Yeah, it's gonna be at 2 a.m. It's not gonna be lit. We're only gonna use like glow in the dark paint.
Great.
There's like,
Well, no, I got excited because when I was at the store the other day, they had bags of throwable paintballs. So I could totally pull that off.
oh, yeah.
What's wrong with
I'm
you?
buying paintballs.
What's
Thank
wrong
you,
with
Ken.
you?
Yeah, no problem. That's great.
Yay.
Good idea.
Before Gettysburg Bike Week, though, and after the Brewtown Rumble, is Laconia Motorcycle Rally and Races, 95 years strong, and we are going to be at the Laconia Roadhouse with Grease and Gears Garage and a bike
Yes.
show and bike games. Please come visit
And
us.
dude, we got some killer stuff lined up. We're actually flying in some of the most talented builders in the country. Will Ramsey's going to come up. I got a lot
You
of
couldn't
stuff.
just keep it simple.
No.
You couldn't just get people from the Northeast.
Have
No.
you met
Like-
Chris, Ken?
I
Come
know.
on.
I'm like,
Come
come
on.
on,
'cause-
guys.
Listen, we've been waiting
Take
for.
it easy. You're like, nah. Let's bring in the big guns. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm bringing it. Like they're giving us a week to do our thing up there, baby. We're rolling it out.
That's gonna be awesome. Because it is, the intention when I started talking to him about it was he's like, I want this to be long term. Like this is not one and done. Like I want to continue this. And it's such a great venue.
The truth is we've been looking for a number of years for someone in Laconia to give us an opportunity to step some things up. That we started talking about this in last year's magazine and the event report about it, that Laconia needs a shot in the arm. They need some excitement back in there.
Yeah.
We've met with the event promoters and tried to pitch some ideas.
Association is a disaster.
But, if maybe this is the chance, maybe we get a chance to work with this property and like really bring some excitement back in. So I'm fired up because it's America's oldest rally.
Well, yeah, that's just it. They're celebrating 95 years this year.
And
to be able to be a part of that.
Actually, the 95 years that they're celebrating, that was when it was officially sanctioned by the AMA. The event is 100 years old already, right? Because
I don't know.
The
Don't
first,
quote.
Well, if you
I think it
look
might be
at the
99 technically.
Yeah.
Because they took a couple years off there.
Well, no, it hadn't been sanctioned.
Yeah,
yet.
it wasn't sanctioned.
And there were a couple of years that were off as
Yeah.
well.
Oh.
I think during World War II, there was actually a couple of years there that didn't have it.
Anyway, super cool that we get to be a part of the 95th anniversary of Laconia Motorcycle Week.
Definitely.
Yeah, we are fired up.
And this year, I'm going to go cover the hill climbs. Called it.
Also, the hill climbs back at Gunstock, dude. That's so badass. Badass.
David Shoup, we unfortunately are not hosting a ride this year in Gettysburg. We've changed up plans a little bit, and we're going to be doing mini bike races instead of a
We'll
ride.
do a ride. We'll do a ride. We're going to do an unofficial ride.
We may do an unofficial ride, so check out the Cycle Source booth.
Yeah, but the as far as the actual sanction by the event, we're not actually doing a ride. We're going to do a ride.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I get it because we were, they have a bunch of rides going on that people pay for. They're charity rides. They raise money. They're poker runs. They're whatever. They're not what we and probably most of the people watching typically do, right? We just want to go ride. We want to find a cool creek to go jump in and hang out and have some good food and take a cool picture.
We just want to be free to ride our machines and not get hassled by the man.
By the
And
man.
we want to get loaded. I just took the whole show
much.
down a few pegs.
Yeah.
All right, so Fuel Cleveland also coming up. Moving on. Fuel Cleveland, like really one of the best things that come along in a long time through the Rust Belt. Mikey Revolt, our comrade in arms over at Lowbrow, started this thing, his brainchild, and at the Wolstein Center on July 27th, the annual running of Fuel Cleveland will also include Mama Tried's Flat Out Friday this year. First time that races that happen in Milwaukee are going to go on the road. Should be pretty cool. I'm a big fan of this show to begin with, so adding this into it I think is going to rock.
I think that's your birthday weekend. I think we may go to Fuel Cleveland this year.
Oh, dude.
Mikey keeps inviting us. We should go.
That would be so awesome. So, what do we have? I think we're
calling this into port.
I think so. Let's watch the BMR
2
video.
hours.
Let's watch the BMR video one more time. Is this your idea of a bike party type thing? I love it. I'm a sick bastard. Anyway. Okay, so we told you guys Big Mountain Run's coming up. That's going to be a blast. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Passion Built will have big news that I got to tell you guys about for next week on next week's show, and this has to do with stuff that's coming out in the magazine right now. So this is hot off the press. There's the new cover of Cycle Source magazine yet to be delivered to the newsstand near you. It features, and get this, Paul Cox's last bike built in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Can you handle that?
That's very cool.
It is cool. It's really cool for Paul because he's got a beautiful new space in Port Jervis, and we had a great conversation about it. Inside, in addition to the story about his motorcycle, there's also 3 or 4 pages where we just like do a history of Paul in New York. And I mean,
yeah,
it's really like the history of the New York City chopper scene, and it was so great to do that. So we asked Paul to come on the show next week, and we're going to go through some of that before the magazine actually comes out, and it'll be a really special time.
Please tell me that you're the one that bought his bench for $400.
Oh, I saw it. It was beautiful. The leather.
I was
bench.
like, by the time I saw it, it was sold. I'm like, are you kidding? Why? What do you? It's a piece of history.
I
like,
know.
what are we do? What are you doing?
Dude,
I saw it.
$400.
I would have so bought that.
It was
too.
beautiful too.
Yeah.
So you see down the bottom corner here, over here, there, right over there. We want to go through real quick and thank some of our sponsors. Of course, BikerNet, who is carrying the message everywhere. Dennis Kirk, S&S, JP Cycles, and we are ShopTalk. And I think we're pulling this puppy into the train house, the dog house, the
train house.
Dude, I'm so tired.
I know.
This
it's like
week
11 o'clock out there. You guys are crazy.
This week kicked my ass.
Mm-hmm. You still got 3 more days. Sorry.
To build a bike.
No,
apparently.
3 more days of the week.
Yeah.
2. Today's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday.
What about Sunday?
That's a new week.
Yeah, Heather observes the Sabbath.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, John Barwood said thanks for the time, folks. He's never done anything like that before. And he was nervous, but we got him through it. John, you were awesome. You were you.
Better
That's all
than
we
us.
asked for.
You're better than us.
Mm-hmm. That's not hard. Sorry.
Say goodbye.
I'm tired. Yeah.
Say goodnight.
Say goodnight. Nighty night, Chris. Nighty night.
So, I'm Chris. He's Ken. This is another episode of Shop Talk. Check us out next week for even the computer side. It's killing me. Let's try this again. Thanks for hanging out with us this week.
What did you just say?
I was trying to do an outro and it just like blew up in my face.
Yeah,
until next week, where we'll be back at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday with Paul Cox as our main show guest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ken.
And we're out.